Hello all, this is Darren Chang and I'm here to cover something a little bit different today. I'm not going to do a review of a pack. Instead, I'm going to focus on the top 10 must-have features in an everyday carry, or what I like to call a crossover day pack. So I'm going to list these things from the least important of the must-haves to the most important of those must-haves. Consider that all 10 of these things are absolutely essential for me to even consider reviewing a pack. So let's get on with it and see what my list looks like. A pack must have a really comfortable and usable handle, grab handle. So if you take a look at this bag here, this is the Green Room 136 Rainmaker 2.1. You can see here it has this handle, it's yellow at the top, that's really cushy. It's centered right there in the middle of the bag. Super easy for me to reach over, pick this thing up, and walk away with it. I wouldn't carry it for a long period of time like this, but there are so many times where I just need to grab and go my pack and then I'll throw it onto my shoulders. But having that momentary need to be able to just grab the pack and go without having to grab the shoulder harness here, which is kind of a pain, grabbing a single handle is so much easier. A water bottle pocket. So you can see right here, this is a typical Hydro Flask. I'm not even sure. This is a 21-ounce Hydro Flask, so it fits into this easily, and I have to have it. I mean, we all know how important it is to stay hydrated, so having a water bottle pocket that fits my Hydro Flask is certainly preferable. It need not be an external one like you see in here. There are some bags that have internal pockets for the water bottle, although I think if you really want to encourage staying hydrated, it probably needs to be in a more accessible spot than inside the pack. Make sure that a pack has an easily accessible organizer panel, and that's something that can hold, ideally, your wallet, pens, maybe your Apple Pencil if you have one, your phone, maybe your sunglasses, keys, whatever it is. And easy access is essential here. You'll notice here that for this Air Tech pack here, that it's right here in the front. So really easy to get access to. You can see I have 2 pen slots here, a place for my wallet, maybe for some cards here. I could fit my sunglasses in here if I wanted to, or my phone. And then you even have an area behind here where you can put your keys that won't damage any of the stuff that you have in the front, say like the screen of your phone or your sunglasses. So having one of these organizer panels that's easy to get access to is really important. And what I mean by easy access, it's not in the main compartment where you have to sort of dig in and to move all your other stuff out of the way. Maybe you have your lunch bag in there or an extra coat or something like that. And to have to move that out of the way to get access to a pen is a huge pain. So having it easily accessible in the front like this, where you can just unzip, take out your Apple Pencil and roll, that's really such an important thing. So that's number 8. For number 7, we have a separate pocket for files and file folders. So you can see here with this Radial 26 by Osprey, in the main compartment, there's an area here where you can slide in file folders, and it'll keep them nice and flat, and they won't get sort of their edges curled over, and it'll stay nice and contained. Things won't fall out of the file folder itself. This is not the laptop pocket. This is completely independent from the laptop pocket and really serves essentially just for your papers, paperwork, file folders, etc. A suspension system that can carry heavy loads, or heavy-ish loads, I should say. And you'll notice here that with this suspension system, this is kind of an unusual one, there's a trampoline of sorts. So this really, and an internal frame that supports the weight of anything that you put in this bag, as well as having really comfortable shoulder straps that are adjustable. And it also has a sternum strap to keep things stable if you're, say, cycling. This pack also, and it's not clipped in here right now, but there's a waist belt to keep it even that much more stable if you're moving around pretty quickly or on your bicycle. So having a suspension system that can comfortably carry the load, especially given that the loads that we're carrying these days with all the tech gear that we carry are much heavier than they've ever been, I think has to be one of those essential must-haves for an everyday carry. Okay, and then number 5 is to have really good zippers. So YKK or the equivalent, I'm not sure if there really is an equivalent to YKK because they're so good at what they do. But also having large, smoothly operating ones are so essential. So you can't just have any old zipper. And so I look here at this Green Room 136 here. These are some of the fattest zippers on a pack that I've ever used. And as a result of them being so big and beefy, 1, they're not going to fail. And 2, they actually work incredibly smoothly. They go right around the corners without any issue. It doesn't bind. You can use these things with one hand and not have any problem with it. And so having these big zippers that work smoothly, just on a day-to-day basis or a moment-to-moment basis when you're working with a bag, that you can easily zip up or unzip to get access to stuff, just makes the quality of your life so much better when you're not fighting your bag in order to get access to all your stuff. So good zippers and smooth zippers are our number 5 most important thing. Okay, so for number 4, I have the Evergoods Civic Panel Loader. It's a 24-liter bag. And keep in mind that this actually is something that I put on because this number 4 thing is having sort of a subdued set of colors and a more professional look or outward design. This really appeals to that sort of crossover piece that I always talk about. This is something that can really fit well in the boardroom. You wouldn't even, if you look at this, you might actually think that it's more of a briefcase than anything else because there is a large handle that goes across the side here and you can carry this thing briefcase style. But indeed it is a backpack and it really has a nice clean look. They have this in a couple of other colors too. I think they have a tan version of it and they also, most importantly, have a really dark color. It's not exactly black, it's more like deep gray, but that one you could easily get away with in a boardroom situation. So having this sort of subdued, more professional look, I think is essential when I go to start picking out the ones that I'm going to review. Because of course, I'm looking at crossover day packs. I'm not just looking at any old fashioned or any old day pack that exists out there. I'm going to go ahead and put by the way, this is the Hawaiian flag. It's not the UK flag. I could pretty much go with any of the bags that you see sitting up here. But that is, most importantly, I'm just going to grab my Green Room 136 again. That's a bag that can stand on its own, like you can see it doing right now. I think this is one of those things that people don't pay enough attention to, and only once they get a bag that tips over on them whenever they're trying to load it or whenever they're trying to take something out of it, do they realize what a huge pain it is to have a bag that can't stand on its own like that. So this is number 3, the ability to stand on its own. It really does make things much easier for you in terms of quality of life. So if zippers were important, it's really even more important for me to have a pack that can stand on its own without having to lean it up against something or for you to have to use one of your free hands to hold it up as you unzip and try to pull out something from your pack. And number 2 is having the Goldilocks sized bag. I have the ECBC Lance here to show you that this is sort of the perfect size bag. ECBC calls this a 28-liter bag. It's a little bit bigger than that. It's probably more in the 30 range. But anywhere between the 25-liter, well, actually, I guess 24-liter, because the Evergoods here is a 24-liter, to around 30 liters is really the ideal size. It's not so big that it sort of flops around and looks messy if it's not filled. And it's also not so big that you make the mistake of carrying too much stuff. And it's also not too small such that you can't fit everything that you need on a daily basis. So having that liter size that's around, say, 24 to 30 is really the ideal size for an everyday carry. Outside of that range, it's probably not going to work all that well for you. So This ECBC Lance fits this just beautifully. And in fact, in some cases, you could even get away with using this as a single bag travel option. Any of the bags that are around the 28 to 30 liter size of things, where if you're just doing a 2-day business trip somewhere, you might be able to get away with just using this bag and this bag alone. Okay, and for the number one most important thing to have as a must-have in all these everyday carry bags, I don't think any of you will be too surprised if you've been sort of thinking about the kinds of bags that I need and that you might need, and that is to have a padded laptop sleeve or pocket, whatever you want to call it. It's really hard to find bags these days that don't have a laptop area, and this one has a beautiful one. You can see here that just in here we have the zone. This would fit a 13-inch laptop, and I actually don't think that you need to have, I know that some of them have sizes that will fit a 15-inch, and this would fit a 15-incher. But really these days, most commuters are cruising around with 13-inch laptops, and so as long as it has a sleeve that's padded and protected for a 13-incher, I think that's completely fine. All right, so there you have it, the top 10 must-haves for an everyday carry, or what I call the crossover day pack. Let me know if you agree with them or you disagree with them. In the next maybe couple of weeks, I'm actually going to put together a similar video, but this time I'm going to do the top 10 things that aren't must-haves, but they are highly desirable, and the things that make a difference between a merely okay pack versus an awesome pack. All right, so take a look. Well, let's see. Subscribe right here and take a look at some of my other videos right here and right here as well.